Donald Trump is a broken man who has broke his promises. And if we don't start checking him, let's just take you at your word that Democrats said nothing. Is that a reason for you to do nothing? Because you think the Democrats did nothing on the Epstein files in the Biden administration, you now have license to leave sexual assault victims? It's just crazy that you hate the Democrats so much. Let's just take you at your word. Okay, the Democrats did nothing. So you're going to do nothing is what you were telling me. My takeaway is we are going to be a broken country.
Gentleman's recognized.
I've listened to my colleagues in this Epstein debate on the Republican side ask over and over, why did the Democrats say nothing during the Biden administration? I've heard TV anchors ask. In fact, I was asked this morning the same question. Now, put aside the fact that in 2019, I called on Andrew Acosta to resign because of his connection to the Epstein files, and I wanted to learn more about why Epstein was not prosecuted. Put aside what Mr. Raskin and Mr. Cummings did. Let's just take you at your word that Democrats said nothing. Is that a reason for you to do nothing? I don't understand the logic here that because you think the Democrats did nothing on the Epstein files in the Biden administration, that to own the libs, you now have license to leave sexual assault victims unprotected. It's just crazy that you hate the Democrats so much that you would let the most notorious child sex trafficker and the people connected to him not be held accountable because you want to own the libs. Let's just take you at your word. Okay, the Democrats did nothing. So you're going to do nothing is what you were telling me. The Democrats, of course, did not do nothing. But let me boil it down to a lesson that I have right in front of me every morning when a 6-year-old wakes me up around 5:45 and wants to watch the same movie over and over and over. That's Frozen. And there's a lesson in this film where Elsa is told by one of the trolls in the movie that if you can't see the future, all you can do is the next right thing. And having seen this, again, 100 times in the last couple years, my takeaway is if you don't know what's going to happen next and you can't change the past, all you can do is the next right thing. So even if you are right that the Democrats did nothing in the past, wouldn't the next right thing be to sign the discharge petition? Or are you so obsessed with just scoring political points that you would punish sexual assault victims? Is that who you are? I don't think that's who you are. When I listen to some of the legislation you propose on your side, I do believe sincerely you care about victims. And if that's who you are and you care about victims, sign the damn discharge petition. Okay, you can own us. I don't care. You can own us 1,000 times. If it gets us to 218 signatures, I will let you have whatever victory you think you're accomplishing. But it seems to me that you're more interested in telling me not to believe my own eyes, which is what the president is doing. The president is telling us not to believe our own eyes. And it's not just on the Epstein files and the birthday card. And by the way, guys, we can bring in a handwriting expert, but I have 2 eyes. And I know what that man's obnoxious signature looks like. And so do you. But Donald Trump has told us that he would end all wars on day 1, that prices would plummet and jobs would soar. And where are we? Ukraine has never been weaker. We've never seen more jobs lost in America since Donald Trump was last president. Even conservatives are complaining about how expensive grocery prices are. And even his own health, he's trying to tell us not to believe our own eyes. Joe Biden looks like an Olympic athlete compared to a man who is hiding his illness. Donald Trump is a broken man who has broke his promises. And if we don't start checking him, we are going to be a broken country. So my friends, if you sincerely believe that Democrats dropped the ball and did not do enough under the Biden administration, then join us now in doing the next right thing and sign the discharge petition. Otherwise, you're telling sexual assault victims this is just about scoring political points, and they come last. I yield back.
What you just heard from Congressman Eric Swalwell wasn't simply another partisan argument on Capitol Hill. It was a moment where he tried to strip away the political theater and force Republicans to confront a very simple moral question. Swalwell's frustration comes from watching an issue that should transcend party lines, transparency around the Epstein files, devolve into political point scoring instead of justice for victims. And he challenges the core logic being used by some Republicans. If Democrats didn't do enough before, then we don't have to do anything now. He exposes how unreasonable that stance is. Because if this is truly about protecting survivors of one of the most notorious sexual exploitation networks in modern history, then the political scoreboard shouldn't matter. What should matter is doing the next right thing. And he uses a surprisingly relatable analogy from the movie Frozen to make that point. That's not a gimmick. That's communication. It humanizes the debate and reminds us that even in the harsh world of politics, basic moral instincts still apply. Swalwell is essentially telling Republicans, if you're serious about victims, prove it. Sign the discharge petition. Help force a vote on releasing critical information tied to Epstein and his network. He's not just calling out inaction, he's calling out selective outrage. Because if the standard is the other party didn't do enough, then nobody ever does anything. That argument becomes a shield for perpetual inaction. And then Swalwell pivots sharply into something deeper. He says there's a broader pattern at play, a pattern where some leaders, especially Donald Trump, tell the public to ignore what they can plainly see. He ties this into false promises, economic struggles, foreign policy failures, and even Trump's physical health, painting a picture of a leader trying to rewrite reality and a movement that demands loyalty to the narrative, not to the facts. His warning is blunt. If the country doesn't start holding Trump accountable to reality, the country itself becomes unmoored from reality. And he uses the Epstein situation as the perfect example. If you truly believe Democrats failed, then the right response is not revenge. It's responsibility. Not owning the libs, but protecting victims. Not political theatrics, but basic human decency. And this is the emotional pivot. Swalwell believes many Republicans do care about victims. He says that explicitly. And by saying that, he boxes them in. He forces them to decide whether they care more about justice or about partisan optics. Because at the end of the day, the Epstein files aren't about political talking points. They're about real people, real pain, real exploitation, and a real network that must be fully exposed. Swalwell's message is simple but powerful. You can't change the past, but you can choose not to repeat its failures. This moment, this petition, is your chance to do the next right thing. And the final question he left hanging in the air is the one lawmakers will have to answer publicly. Are you willing to put victims first, or is political owning more important than justice? That is the heart of this debate, and it's why this moment matters far beyond the theatrics of Congress. If you want breakdowns like this every day, hit subscribe, share the video, and stay locked in, because the truth isn't always comfortable, but it's always necessary.